Hey guys, Drew here, back with another video, and Louis-Antoine Denault is a Florida Panther, which I did not expect. I'm literally just filming this right as soon as the draft had just ended. The 7th round is just clued up, and the NHL Draft weekend is done. What a weekend it was. A lot of great moments, a lot of interesting ones as well, of course. But, when it all came said and done, the 7th round came, and by that point, no Newfoundland Regiment players had been selected. I was wondering if guys like Louis-Francois Belanger, Tyson Gogan, Marek Danicek, all those former regiments and maybe regiment players next season were going to possibly get drafted to an NHL squad. But none of their names were getting called, and I was like, you know what, this draft may just end here with no regiment players being drafted. But no, at 217th overall in the 7th round, the Florida Panthers call Louis-Antoine Denault's name from the Newfoundland Regiment. First of all, what a guy. And I did not expect this. So for those who did not know, Louis-Antoine Denault played in Florida Panthers development camp last summer in 2025. So he kind of has a bit of a connection here with the Panthers, and they really liked his style. He did not have to go back into this draft. He could have just stayed with Florida, go back to the development camp, but he wanted to take a chance on himself, which he did, and the Panthers take a chance on him in this draft. And for those who don't know, before we talk about Denault, the Panthers aren't the greatest right now. They aren't in the greatest situation, rather, with their goaltending. Both of their goaltenders this past season, Sergei Bobrovsky and Daniil Tarasov, are upcoming unrestricted free agents. Bobrovsky is at 37 years old, where you don't really know if you sign him, will he be the goalie that he once was a few years ago? And for Tarasov, I don't really think he's starter capable. So for the Panthers, that's one of their main things this offseason is trying to go after a goaltender. They've already got Brady Tkachuk, which absolutely mind blown me. But they're going to take a chance here on Denault. And will he help Florida with their goaltending situation? Maybe not next season, but I can seriously see this guy in the NHL someday. It's definitely possible. I'm not trying to be biased or anything like that just because he plays for the regiment. Florida, they aren't in the best situation. Even if they get a good starting goaltender heading into next season, let's say they go after Jordan Binnington or Stuart Skinner or somebody like that, they're still going to have a bit of a black hole there on their backup slot. Is Denault ready next season? I don't think so. I think he'll be back with the regiment playing games here and there, of course. But, in a couple of years' time, I do seriously see this guy as a backup in the NHL at least. But, it'll definitely be interesting. So let's talk about Denault, the goaltender, the guy he is. So this guy's actually from Quebec City, ended up getting drafted by the Quebec Ramparts to play for his hometown squad, which is absolutely amazing. Didn't go so well for him in Quebec City. So in the 2023-24 season, his rookie year, he put up an .883 save percentage, which is not ideal. Before Major Junior, I mean, goals are going to happen. Goals are scored a lot more in the major junior leagues than in the NHL per se. And then in 2024-25, he improved a little bit, got a .902 save percentage by the end of the season by the Ramparts. And then this season was especially his breakout year. In the 2025-26 season for the Ramparts, he had a .911 save percentage. And with the value that Louis-Antoine Denault had in the state that the Ramparts were in, they weren't really in the spot to contend, even though they made it to the second round this season. They didn't really think that Denault, could be a part of their future. So what they do is they trade him. They trade him to the Newfoundland Regiment at the trade deadline. Louis-Antoine Denault comes to the regiment. The regiment end up trading the second round pick in 2026 and their second round pick in 2028, or third round pick in 2028 instead of the 2028 second round pick. But with the second round pick in 2026, the Ramparts actually ended up trading that pick to the St. John Sea Dogs, and the Sea Dogs ended up taking Nathan Riendeau, which should be an interesting piece to the Sea Dogs. And if you see him come here this next season for the Sea Dogs, remember that he was a part of the trade tree in Louis-Antoine Denault coming to the Newfoundland Regiment. And for those who don't know, Louis-Antoine Denault stands at 6'8" tall, and he's the tallest goaltender in the QMJHL. And I said in my bold predictions video, I seriously think that this guy can be goaltender of the year next season. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I generally see it. He's 209 pounds. I don't say 2,009 pounds. That would be absolutely insane. But 209 pounds for Louis-Antoine Denault. When he got traded to the regiment, if you're wondering how he did he did quite well. He played 25 games to finish out the year for the Regiment, had a 16-7-2 record, a 2.69 goals against average, and a 913 save percentage, which is the best save percentage he's had in any sort of season. Or he did better than the Regiment than he did in any season with the Ramparts. That just proves something on how good of a group the Regiment had on not only the back end to play for Denault, but on the other side when they were scoring all those goals here and there. It got a bit rough in the playoffs for Denault. There were a couple goals that he let in that weren't ideal, that I wasn't quite a fan of. But in the playoffs, he played 12 games for the Regiment, had a 6-5-1 record, a 3.02 goals against average, and a 903 save percentage. So the Regiment, they got bounced in the second round by the Blainville Boisbriand Armada. They ended up getting past the Cape Breton Eagles in the first round in 6 games. So yeah, it was just really an intriguing, or actually 5 games. It was, yeah, gentleman's sweep. So, or maybe it was 6. My mind is blanking right now, guys. But anyways, the Regiment ended up beating the Cape Breton Eagles. It was 6 games. I remember it now. They lost in game 1, and then they lost in game 5, which they blew the lead. I was blanking, trying to get that off the top of my head. I don't know why I was blanking. I remember that series really well. But then they ended up playing Blainville in the second round, and they ended up losing to the Armada in that series. So for the Regiment, just to get that experience in the playoffs meant a lot, and meant a lot for Louis-Antoine Denault. He's never played more than 4 games in the playoffs in his QMJHL career. So for him to get this experience in the playoffs, for him meant a lot and could possibly mean a lot next season with the Regiment as well. So for Louis-Antoine Denault, he's participated in the past 2 NHL drafts. He's born on September 26th, so a bit of an early birthday. But I mean, he's going to turn 20 in September. I mean, the Panthers are going to be looking for a goaltender, and this is the only goaltender that they drafted in the draft. And I saw on Twitter, I saw on all the social medias that people were getting really upset that the Panthers weren't drafting a goaltender. Similar to Edmonton, they don't really draft goaltenders in the draft. They don't really draft at all, to be honest with you. But for the Panthers, with the picks that they were having, they were mainly drafting guys in Europe and then guys in the OHL and all those types of leagues. And they weren't ending up drafting goaltenders. So with their last pick, they decided to take a swing here on Louis-Antoine Denault. So we will see how he does next year. The thing is, with him going to the Panthers, the Regiment probably will not have Louis-Antoine Denault for maybe opening weekend, well, guaranteed opening weekend, and then possibly the weekend after that. We saw it this year with guys like Dawson Sharkey, Will Reynolds. These guys went to training camp and they missed a few games to open up the year. So for Denault to head to Florida training camp, it'll mean a lot to him. But for the Regiment, who will you have as your starter? Will Antoine Proulx come back and get those first couple games? And is he capable of doing that? We saw his performances this season. Is he going to be able to take on that starter role for just the first couple of weekends before Denault is back? But it'll be interesting to see what the situation holds here for the goaltending for the Regiment. But Louis-Antoine Denault is a Florida Panther drafted in the 7th round. 217 is his magic number now with the Florida Panthers. So only time could tell what the future holds for Louis-Antoine Denault. But this draft pick definitely helps him even more into his goal, into becoming an NHL goaltender. That's it for today's video, guys. I'll talk to you all again in the next one. If you enjoyed today's video, I hope you like it, and subscribe if you haven't already. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. More off-season content coming here, talking about the Regiment, talking about the Q. I have a video plan coming out this week, and we'll see about this draft. So stay tuned for that. But until then, I'm Julian, the Hockey Guy, and I'll talk to you all guys all again soon.